So, the Summer Wave. As always, I don't rank any set that I haven't bought and built myself, and out of the 9 sets released this wave, I picked up every single one aside from the Juniors ATST and the Advent Calendar, and in this video I'm going to rank them all. Starting with the worst set of this wave, to the surprise of absolutely nobody, is Obi-Wan Kenobi vs Darth Vader. This is one of the worst LEGO Star Wars sets I've ever built. €50 is a disgrace for this set. The build experience was incredibly boring to a point that I have nothing to say about it, and the finished model has nothing going on and honestly looks really bad. The only good thing about this set is its minifigures, and even they aren't perfect. Tala should have had dual molded legs at least, and I'm not totally sold on the Obi-Wan minifigure, especially since this misprint that I got is seemingly pretty common. And I really wish the Vader had red eyes like on the box art, just to give him something unique for this set. The only genuinely great thing about the set is the Ned B figure, but he's just not worth €50 by himself. And for those reasons, I ranked it 167th out of the 169 sets in my collection. Next we have Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter for €35. The build was largely similar to the 2018 Anakin's Jedi Starfighter set, but slightly different in a few areas. As a result, they look great together, but it won't wow you in the process of actually putting it together. What I do love about this set though are the minifigures. For just €5 more than the 2018 version, which is especially notable when you look at modern prices, you get a brand new Kaminoan minifigure and a fantastic Obi-Wan. I love these figures, they look better in person than in pictures, and I'm incredibly glad the whole Kaminoan mini doll rumor turned out to be fake because this is just so much better. Pretty good set, relatively great value, brilliant minifigures, and for those reasons I ranked it at 73rd out of 169 sets. I feel like I don't have an awful lot to say about the next set, that being the buildable BD1. I think I'm more excited about the prospect of Fallen Order sets than I am this set specifically. With this particular set though, it had a fairly standard build for the most part, with the highlight being the eyes and neck. And I think the final model looks great, but nothing incredibly different to the existing brick build characters. Maybe I've fallen out of love with this sub-theme, but I'm just not as excited about this set as I thought I'd be. With that said, it's still a really good set that I'm very happy to own, so I've ranked it at 66th of the 169 sets in my collection. The next set really surprised me in how much I loved it, and that's the Ambush on Ferrix set. It has an extremely dense build. It has almost 3 times the piece count of Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter, but the ship itself is more or less the same size. The build was incredibly fun from start to finish. I especially loved putting together the angles on the front, and the final model is so satisfying to hold because of its density. It's just so solid and well put together that it feels like a really premium toy. As a result, I've ranked it one spot above BD1 at 65th out of 169 sets. €80 still feels like way too much for the size of ship you get, and you really should get more than 3 minifigures with it, but I really fell in love with the build itself, so I couldn't put it any lower. I think the next best set in this wave is the Justifier at €170. The minifigures they included are great, especially if you don't have Hunter or Fennec already. Cad Bane and Omega are both done incredibly well, and I couldn't have asked for more with them. I also thought the build was pretty fun for the most part, especially the vents area on the back, where every tile is secured in the gap in between studs as opposed to them. There's a shitload of Technic internals that you spend ages working on, which all serve a super simple mechanism of just having the landing pads deploy with the wings. I honestly laughed when I saw how much effort was put into something so ridiculously unnecessary, and honestly if I was more cynical I'd say it was a waste of pieces and money, but we'll get to that. The ship is also huge, like way bigger than I expected, and because of its shape, it was kind of unavoidable that 30 to 40% of it was just you repeating yourself. With all that said, I can't imagine the amount of crack the executive was smoking to think €170 was a fair price for this. It's just way out of line. Also for this price, it really should have come with Tanwei and Lama Su minifigures. They're both extremely relevant to the set, and it would have made much more sense for this to be the one where they give us our first Kaminoan minifigures. Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter could have been fine without Tanwei, but this set really badly needed the extra value they'd bring. All things considered, I ranked it at 31st out of 169 sets. This was just 2 Kaminoan minifigures away from being much higher on my list. The last 2 sets in this wave are extremely close in my mind. The ATT Walker and Inquisitor Transport Scythe are both contenders for the best playset in my collection, alongside the Bad Batch Attack Shuttle from last year. You could place these 3 sets in any order and I'd totally get it. With that said, for the next best set after the Justifier, I had the ATT Walker. LEGO went above and beyond with the minifigures in this set. As a company, they've never exceeded my expectations to this degree before. They also finally added the extra holes to the Phase 2 helmet for accessories. They added it in a really weird way though. Not sure what they were thinking there, to be honest. The build for this set though was standard enough, if not somewhat repetitive, but the finished build is arguably one of the best looking sets in my collection. On another day this would be placed higher, but for now I'm ranking it at 23rd out of my 169 sets. Which means the best set of this wave, to my surprise, is the Inquisitor Transport Scythe. This set had genuinely the best build experience of any LEGO Star Wars playset I've ever put together. The angles on the front were incredibly cool to build, and I was so surprised at how secure the panels were at the front once you've assembled them. Usually there's some flapping and rattling with the panels of these playsets, looking at even the ATTE for comparison, but this set is just so solid and well put together. The figure selection is also as good as I could have wanted, especially as somebody with none of the Inquisitors from the Rebels waves. There's nobody I was left wanting for, and the figures they did include were done extremely well. I do think the older face prints were better for the Inquisitors, and Fennec's hair works way better for Reva, but aside from that, I'm really struggling to find anything about this set to criticize. I think it just feels weird to place it this high because I don't feel nearly as strongly about the source material. The Kenobi show was only okay overall, whereas Revenge of the Sith is the pinnacle of Star Wars to me, so it kind of feels wrong to place this above the ATTE. But man, the build was just so much fun, and every time I look at the finished model, I get this sense of awe and appreciation that I don't think I've ever gotten from another playset before. So, for those reasons, at least for now, I'm ranking this as 21st out of the 169 sets in my collection. And that's everything. There's a link in the description in case you wanted to have a look at the full rankings yourself. But yeah, thanks for watching. Farewell.